Hello,
Hello,
I'm Ben,
and I'm Ben,
and we
and we are
are the
the
neighbour.
Neighbours.
Today's a little bit of a different one for us. We wanted to just take a moment to just talk about how incredibly sad we are about the passing of Neighbours icon Janet Andrewartha.
Absolutely, yeah. She was an icon, and as people know, we are huge Lyn Scully fans. So this has come as a real blow to us and the Neighbours community as well. It's news that came out of nowhere. So we just wanted to kind of pay our respects, but also celebrate Janet and the character of Lyn Scully as well.
I can't imagine what it's like for her family and for the people that work very closely with her. But I know just from speaking to other fans of Neighbours how loved she was. And I think we've given Lyn Scully a lot of airtime over the past couple of years that we've been going. It seemed wrong for us to not come on and do something to just commemorate how much we loved her. So today is all about celebrating Janet and Mama Scully.
Neighbors, everybody needs good neighbors with a little understanding. You can find the perfect blend. That's when good neighbors become good friends.
So I first experienced the magic of Janet Andrewartha when she was in Prisoner Cell Block H. And I was a huge fan of Prisoner and
Was
was, well, still
Was
am,
you
yeah.
still are? He's watching it for the third time all the way through.
I can't help it. Every time you see a different neighbour's character, it's fabulous. It's amazing. It's such a fab game to play Spot the Neighbour.
He used to give me roses. I wish he could again. But that was on the outside, and things were different then. On the inside, the sun still shines, and the rain falls down. But the sun and rain are prisoners too when morning comes around.
So when I was watching Janet as Reb Keane, it was before the Scullys had even arrived in Neighbours. So I just knew her as this like James Dean-esque, violent, terrifying prisoner. Apparently, they'd asked her to cut her hair short for the role because they really wanted her to be like this James Dean, like baddie.
You're a joke, Ferguson. You wouldn't have the guts to face anyone without that uniform.
So she was always like combing back her hair and fixing a collar. That's why I've got this shirt on today, just specifically. But it was amazing. It was so good, and the character was so different to Lyn. And also randomly, Madge played her mother in Prisoner as well. That's cool.
Oh,
But I just thought you should know your father's will was read yesterday.
So,
You're the main beneficiary.
so when you heard that the Scullys were arriving and this Janet Andrew Arthur was going to be playing the mother of this family, what did you first think? Like, were you like, how can this person who I know as his absolute villain
You bitches!
is now going to be on Ramsey Street playing this kind of mumsy busybody?
I mean, if I'd read about it without seeing the picture of Lyn, because I first saw it in Inside Soap Mag, because at the time Neighbours were quite far ahead. So I saw the picture of the Scully family, and I think there was leopard print. So I knew already that I was going to love her.
Yeah.
But I did think, God, I feel nervous for like Susan Kennedy. What if she's going to come for her? What if Lyn's like a psycho with a bouffant?
It's just life has a way of settling scores, you know. Sometimes all you got to do is wait.
I mean, I wouldn't have trusted Reb Keane to cut my hair in the way. Well, I don't know if I'd have trusted our Linny to cut my hair as well, did you?
No.
But I remember seeing that picture of the Scully family, and I knew exactly who Lyn Scully was going to be, and I knew I was going to love her.
Yeah, absolutely. You can tell a lot of thought went into creating the character of Lyn, so that when you looked at her, you knew exactly what you were going to get. And boy, did the Scullys and Lyn deliver.
Yeah, well, how was I supposed to know that bridge wasn't high enough for this stupid truck to fit over?
Because it's on the map.
Michelle spewed.
Yep, but you know she always gets sick in the back.
She was the smallest.
Yeah, there wasn't any.
Okay, Angel.
Come inside and clean you up.
Hey, you two. Grab something.
Like they came on into Ramsey Street and just turned that quiet little cul-de-sac on its head.
Hey, did you see that salvo guy get into his car across the road?
Hey, you'll have us singing hymns and rattling collection tins.
Could anyone say something positive about the new Neighbours, I wonder?
Yeah, because up until that point, it had kind of got a bit middle class. I think Angie was the last of the kind of like larrikins to leave the street. And yet you had all these very pleasant, lovely, mumsy, well-to-do neighbours who were all very nice to each other, you know. You had obviously Susan and Carl, and the queen of that, so we like that. But we'd had like Ruth Wilkinson and Phil and the Martins, you know. I mean, Ruth was no Julie, was she?
I find you comfortable.
Let me think about that, will you?
Madge was on the street as well, but she wasn't like the Madge of the 80s. She still had a bit of, you know, colour to her, but she wasn't the brash kind of on the offensive Madge that we remembered from those 80s episodes.
Yeah. And then Lyn and Joe and the girls just booled in.
They seem nice, don't they? The mum seems a bit, I don't know.
It's hard to describe, really.
Will you two please stop it? They could see you.
Within the first episode, Lyn was already offending Susan by, you know, calling her Sue all the time.
You'll have to excuse my husband, Sue. Thank you for letting us know, Sue.
Susan, not Sue.
I'm sorry. It's just that Susan always sounds that bit old-fashioned, you know. Oh, Joe, this is Dr. Carl Kennedy, Susan's husband.
But there was a real sense that Lyn was a proper mother hen.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So before we kind of delve into our favorite Lyn Scully moments, I just wanted to ask you, because you had the pleasure of meeting Janet herself just before Christmas. What was that like?
It was incredible. Absolutely. And they say don't meet your heroes, and she was an absolute sweetheart. And what was lovely was how eloquent she spoke about Neighbours and Prisoner. She just spoke so highly of the show, fondly of some of the cast that she'd worked with. She told a cracking story about her and Jackie Woodburn at an audition together when they were straight out of drama school. And apparently you had to almost, it was like a bit of a meat market. You'd all sit in a big room and you would literally have to kind of tick the things you could do, what accents you could speak and whatnot. So she said that she was there. Oh yeah, I can do an Irish accent tick. Can't do that. So she'd tick about 5 things, and she looked up, and there was Jackie Woodburn, just like tick 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 tick, and she was like, "You can't do that. You can't scuba dive." And apparently Jackie was like, "Oh, so what?" But there was a real sense of like love for each other, and I think, and obviously that came across on screen.
You're such a good friend, Lyn. Best friend I have got. Ooh, thanks.
But you got to have friends. The feelings are so strong. You got to have friends to make that day last long. I had some friends, but they're gone. Something came and took them away, and from the dusk till the dawn, here is where I'll stay. Standing at the end of the road, boys, waiting for my new friends to come. I don't care if I'm hungry or cold. I'm gonna get me some of them, 'cause you got to have friends. Ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Friends, that's right, you. Oh, you, yeah, you. I said you got to have some friends. Talking about friends.
But yeah, she was just a delight, an absolute delight. And she was so gracious, and she recorded a little video for us. Okay, I'm here with Mama Scully, and she's got something she'd like to say.
Please subscribe to the Neighbours.
You know, when I was like, God, if I could tell my like teenage self that one day Lyn Scully was going to know who I was. And I showed her a video of us, and I think she just thought, who are these two utter goons?
Not, please tell me you didn't show her the Lyn Scully moan video.
Yes, the Scully moan. Do you remember when Queen Lyn? It was more of a.
You did. Oh God.
But it's such an iconic moment, isn't it? You know, it's up there with Daphne and the tights and the slap.
Exactly. When I was putting together the big Neighbours, the old chapter montage, 20 minutes long. Look it up on our YouTube channel if you've not seen it
Get
already.
that in there.
Yeah, someone commented like, "Oh, you're a fan of Lyn Scully, aren't you?" And I on reflection, I was like, "Wow, yeah, she's in there a lot because she's so clippable. There's so many, like you say, iconic moments."
Oh, she's dead clippable.
Let's pick out some iconic Lyn Scully moments.
I'm going to go first with one of mine, and it was absolutely incredible. It was a moment, and I've said it before, that she found out that Valda was her mother.
Yeah, she was a big girl then too, wasn't she?
Ah, Joe, she's pregnant.
She is pregnant, eh?
It was such a slow build up to it as well. Valda had been on screen quite a long time by that point. You know, it wasn't as if, you know, nowadays, you know, someone arrives, they're revealed as someone's mother, and they've either died or bumped someone off by the end of the 3-week story arc, and they're off again. But back then, they really played the long game. There was a moment where she saw Valda on screen pregnant, and all the dates kind of added up, and in her mind it all clicked. And I don't think there was any instrumental music. They really let Janet act that out, and let her acting bring the tension and emotion. We didn't need a little, you know, violin to tell us, oh, this is a sad moment now, this is a shock moment. It just played out. And it was really then interesting to see them play that really tender, touching tension.
No, I'm sorry, please, Lyn, are you okay? Yeah, I'm sorry, Pat.
Opposed to her, it being all like just daft Auntie Valda, who's quite comedic.
Trust Gino, he loves a party.
Lily!
All right, I saw it.
Excellent choice. I kind of knew you were going to pick that one, but excellent choice. I'm going to go with her whole rivalry with Rebecca.
Stop! No, stop now!
Lyn?
What the hell are you doing?
This can't go on. We're still married.
Lyn versus Rebecca. And within that theme, there are multiple moments I loved about them. Like the cat fight on Rebecca and Paul's wedding day.
How dare you push me?
Which is a clip that is recycled constantly.
Serves you right.
Do something! Get all of you, Lyn! You are stupid! You understand it? I am marrying
And up until Janet's most recent appearance in Neighbours, when she came back as part of Paul's ex-wives story.
You are making a huge mistake by marrying.
That moment in the spa when Lyn, Gail, Rebecca confronted Therese.
The important thing is that you listen to us now before it's too late.
But it is too late. I love Paul and I am going to marry him, no matter what you crazy women say.
And whilst they were trying to do the right thing and tell Therese not to marry Paul, Lyn and Rebecca couldn't resist slinging a bit of mud at each other.
Why are you so horrible?
Of course I hate
what has
Paul,
happened
but at
to
least
you
I'm
to
not
make
lying
you so
about it.
miserable?
Why won't you admit that
I
you...
can't believe I'm listening to this childishness.
And that line about, what have you done for women, Lyn, apart from saddle them with terrible haircuts?
And I have spent my life dedicated to helping women, and what have you done apart from saddle them with terrible haircuts?
Oh my God.
Yeah, the whole pairing Lyn and Paul together was such a bonkers idea, and at the time when they never worked as a couple.
You old romantic.
But they work as exes.
You are going to be my most favourite divorce ever, you know that?
And I think what that brought, and every return after that, with her and Rebecca and her and Therese, and just that rivalry, it was just, hilarious.
Well, it was good to see you, Lyn. You drive safely.
Spare me the Girl Guide routine. Beck, bye, Lyn.
So much fun. So much fun.
My next one, I've already mentioned it, is the Lyn Scully moan. Steph is sentenced to prison for running over and killing Ringo whilst under the influence.
Therefore, I sentence you to 6 years imprisonment with a minimum non-parole period of 2 years.
And as the news echoes around the courtroom, Lyn lets out this guttural, animal moan. I'd love to know, we've been chatting to Geordie Lucas on Instagram. I'd love to know from her, like, what it was like sitting next to Lyn. Did she know Janet was going to do that? Had that been rehearsed? Because that was something else.
I want to know what the stage direction was. You know how Lucinda Cowden always talks about getting the stage direction of Melanie's laugh being like a cross between a seal and I can't remember what else it was. I wonder if Lyn got this like no brackets yelled in the style of a kind of
dying wildebeest,
a bear being circumcised and and a whale in a choir. Okay, so my next one is a brilliant moment where they're all after the same fella. They're all after Izzy's dad.
Yes.
You remember?
Yeah.
And he'd lured them all and Lyn had fallen for it. And when it was revealed to each other and it was just the women around the table.
He says it keeps him young. How did you... No.
Looks like the dirty dog sweet-talked all of us.
It was just one of the most funniest moments ever. And wow.
Oh, where are you?
At home.
And you're all alone?
Uh-huh. I'm just waiting for you to come around and ring my bell.
Yeah, they were a fabulous friendship. So sad that we won't get to see them working together on screen again. So sad. All right, my next one is Making Mansions.
Listen, have a look at this.
What is that?
Oh, it's one of those, reality TV show thingies.
Oh, goodness sake. Chuck it in the bin, Joe.
You just wanted to bring up that Ricky Martin poster, didn't you?
Well, if his Ricky Martin poster's going to look good on
I don't have a Ricky Martin poster. I have never had a Ricky Martin poster.
This was like comedy, pure comedy.
If you don't want me to do it, just ask.
Yes, Mum, you're walking in the paint. Oh, for goodness sake, look out. Oh, for heaven's sake, I'm
And tune in next week when we get more renovation tips from the most dysfunctional of Australian families, the Scullys of Ramsey Street.
And it could have been really naff, but it was such a fantastic storyline. So funny.
Here we are. This'll make his Ricky Martin poster look good.
I do not have a Ricky Martin poster.
Oh, come on, Jack. We live in modern times. There's no need to be embarrassed.
And all of them pulled it off. And I loved that Lyn thought this was going to be like a serious TV moment for her. And that moment when they all got to sit down and watch the first episode and they were all just roasted.
Jack, get in here and help me, will you? I'm sick of your darn mess.
And a great way to actually do up the house as well.
Yeah. None of that one day the kitchen is pink, the next day the kitchen is blue with no explanation.
Yeah, just Granny Helen just there with a paintbrush.
A bit of paint on her forehead, yeah. Oh, ta-da!
And I just wanted to, give one more from which I think is just her joy as a mother, because I think that her relationship with all the kids, I mean, her and Steffi.
I love you, Mum. Oh, I love you too, my brave girl.
I think, there was such a warmth. It just lit up the screen, and it was so beautiful to see her and Flick and Shelley and Jack.
Mama, I love you. Mama, I care. Mama, I love you. Mama, my friend.
I think what some of the cast have said on reflection after Janet's death is that she was like a mother to them on screen and off screen. So like you say, it looked genuine.
And I know that just the week before Janet passed, Carla Bonner was at the Screen Star event, and she spoke so beautifully about her relationship with Janet, and you could just tell there was a real love there. It was so heartwarming to see, and everyone was saying, "Are you going to come back? Come back! We want Steph Scully back. We want Lyn back." And she was like, "Bring it on, bring it on." It's just very sad that what's happened has happened.
Yeah, I've got one last thing. We cannot pay tribute to Lyn Scully without talking about or mentioning the haircuts, the hairstyles of Lyn Scully. Because boy, were there some hairstyles.
I mean, let's be fair. She was a hairdresser. She had to be on top of the trends.
But let's say, let's be kind and say ahead of the trends. So it wasn't trendy yet, but it was incoming.
I don't think it still isn't been trendy yet. But was that Lyn or was that Gino?
Boys, you don't get to film what you can't afford.
I think it was the spiky red tip one. I think that has to be my favorite.
That was a look, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
How boring Neighbours would have been without Lyn Scully.
Absolutely, yeah. She will never be forgotten. She is one of the legendary characters.
Thank you, Neighbours, for giving us Lyn Scully. And Janet, you were an absolute star. And you've left your mark on all the hearts of all the fans.